Listen, I need every single Cowboys fan to stop what you are doing right now because what just happened in Dallas is going to completely reshape how we look at this entire offseason. And before we get into all the details, make sure you hit that subscribe button because this channel covers every Cowboys update the moment it drops. And trust me, you do not want to miss what is coming next for this team. All right, let me tell you what just went down because this is massive. And honestly, it caught a lot of people off guard, including myself. The Dallas Cowboys have officially agreed to a 3-year, $24 million contract extension with running back Javante Williams. And here's the crazy part. This deal got done before the NFL Combine even started. Now, if you have been paying attention to how the Cowboys typically operate, you know that this is not normal behavior for this organization. We literally heard Stephen Jones say multiple times that Dallas usually begins contract negotiations in Indianapolis at the Combine, yet here we are days before that event even kicks off, and the Cowboys have already locked up their first extension of the offseason. This is a completely different energy than what we have seen in the past, and I am here for every single bit of it. But here is what nobody is really talking about yet, and this is the part that should have every Cowboys fan feeling a certain type of way. This move tells us everything we need to know about the direction Jerry Jones and the front office are taking this franchise. They are not waiting around anymore. They are not playing the media game. They are not trying to squeeze every last drop of attention out of negotiations like they have done in years past. They are simply making moves and getting business handled early. That is a fundamental shift in how this organization operates, and if you cannot see that, then I honestly do not know what to tell you at this point. Now, let us talk about what this deal actually means from a football perspective, because the implications are huge. Javante Williams had himself a season last year, and I mean, he really put together something special in that backfield. We are talking about essentially a 1,200-yard season with a bunch of touchdowns, and more importantly, he brought an attitude and physicality to that offense that had been missing for a long time. This is a guy who runs angry. He puts his helmet into defenders' chests. He does not go down easy. He stands in there and picks up blitzes when the quarterback needs protection. He is everything you want in a modern running back, and now he is locked up for the next 3 seasons at roughly $8 million per year. When you break down the cap hit on this deal, it gets even better for Dallas because you are likely looking at somewhere around $4 to $5 million against the cap for Williams, and that is an absolute steal for a back who produced the way he did. And the way the Cowboys structured this financially is actually pretty clever when you think about it. Remember when Dallas released Logan Wilson earlier this offseason? That move freed up cap space that was going to be dedicated to that position. And now, essentially, what the Cowboys have done is redirected those funds to keep Javante Williams in the building. That is a smart trade-off any way you slice it. You are keeping a productive player who fits your system and your culture while managing your cap situation responsibly. This is the type of front office maneuvering that wins in the long run, and it shows that maybe the Cowboys are finally learning how to operate like a properly run franchise. But wait, because here is where things get really interesting for the draft, and I need you to pay close attention to this part. With Javante Williams now secured on a team-friendly deal, the Cowboys have effectively eliminated running back as a need heading into April. Think about what that means for a second. The only offensive position that I could realistically see Dallas targeting in the first round was running back, especially if someone like Jeremiah Love was sitting there when they picked. Now, that conversation is completely off the table. There is absolutely zero reason to spend premium draft capital on a running back when you have Williams locked up along with Jaydon Blue, who showed incredible promise in that final game of the season, and Malik Davis, who looked solid whenever he spelled Williams throughout the year. That running back room is set. It is deep. It is talented. It is physical. And most importantly, it did not cost you a first-round pick to build it. So what does this mean for those 2 first-round selections the Cowboys are holding? It means defense. It has to mean defense. Both of those picks need to be dedicated to fixing the other side of the ball because that is where the real problems are on this roster. Now, I know during the press conference there was some interesting language from the coaching staff suggesting that maybe there was an offensive player they had their eye on, but with Williams signed, I genuinely cannot figure out what position that would be. The offensive line does not need another first-round investment right now, and please spare me with the trenches talk because we have been pounding the table for offensive linemen for years, and where exactly has that gotten us? It is time to change the approach. Draft blue chip playmakers at skill positions on defense who can come in and make an immediate tangible impact on games. That is the formula. That is what championship teams do. And now with the backfield secured, the Cowboys have no excuse not to go all in on fixing that defense with their premium picks. Here's something else I want you to think about because this signing reveals a lot about the culture building happening inside that locker room right now. Earlier this season, Javante Williams said something that really stood out to me. And according to one report, his exact words were that he loves it in Dallas and he loves his teammates and he does not always want to just follow money because he wants to go somewhere he can succeed and be part of something special, and he feels like Dallas is very special. Let that sink in for a minute. This is a player who absolutely could have tested the open market. He played himself into what many thought would be a bigger payday somewhere else. Other teams would have paid him more guaranteed money to come be their feature back, but he chose to stay. He chose Dallas. He chose this locker room and this coaching staff and this opportunity over chasing a bigger check elsewhere. That tells you something real about what is being built inside that facility. Players are starting to believe in the vision. They are starting to see something worth committing to. And when you have guys making decisions based on culture and winning rather than just maximizing every dollar that is, when you know an organization is heading in the right direction, the attitude and physicality that Williams brings cannot be understated either. This is a guy who transformed the identity of the Cowboys offense last season. Whether he was running guys over between the tackles or standing in there to protect the quarterback on passing downs, he played with an edge that was contagious. The coaching staff talked all year about how professional he was and how he approached every single day with the right mindset. That type of leadership and example setting is invaluable, especially for a young player like Jaydon Blue, who now gets to learn behind a guy who does everything the right way. You cannot put a price tag on that kind of mentorship, and the Cowboys just ensured they keep it in-house for the foreseeable future. Now, let me address something, because I know there are people out there who love to wait for any reason to be negative about this team. Some of you are sitting there right now trying to find the catch, or waiting for the other shoe to drop, or looking for some reason why this is actually bad news. Stop it. Just stop it. This was a great deal, period. You locked up a productive running back on a team-friendly contract before free agency even started. You eliminated a need heading into the draft. You kept a leader and a culture setter in your locker room. You showed the rest of the league that Dallas is serious about winning and willing to move quickly to make it happen. If you cannot get excited about that, then I really do not know what you are waiting for at this point. The world has enough negativity in it without Cowboys fans manufacturing reasons to be upset about objectively positive news. Let yourself enjoy this one, because it is a win for the organization. And speaking of moving quickly, here is something that should get your attention as we look ahead to the rest of this offseason. The Cowboys clearly have a new approach to handling contract business. They are not waiting until the last minute. They are not dragging things out for media attention. They are identifying priorities and getting deals done early. So what does that mean for the other big contract situation hanging over this team? I am talking about George Pickens, obviously. Do not be surprised at all if we see that extension get hammered out well before free agency begins. Remember, Dallas tried to get the Micah Parsons deal done in March last year, which would have been extremely early for that caliber of contract. They have shown they are willing to be aggressive with timing when they identify a priority. I would not be shocked one bit if we see George Pickens locked up in the first or second week of March. The Cowboys are operating differently now, and all signs point to them continuing that trend with their other pending business. Is this the move Dallas had to make? Absolutely it was. You cannot let a player who produced like Williams walk out the door when you have the cap flexibility to keep him. You cannot ignore the culture and physicality he adds to your offense. You cannot overlook how much easier this makes your draft preparation, knowing you do not have to address running back with a premium pick. Every single angle of this deal makes sense for the Cowboys, both in the short term and the long term. This is how smart franchises operate, and it is genuinely refreshing to see Dallas finally getting on board with that approach. The excitement heading into this offseason should be building for every Cowboys fan right now. The team is showing through actions, not just words, that they are committed to winning and making aggressive moves to improve the roster. We have seen a different mentality from this front office over the past year, and this Williams extension is just the latest example of that new way of doing business. More moves are coming. The draft is going to be fascinating, with both first-round picks almost certainly going to defense. Free agency could bring some surprises.